Welcome to Inside the Skev, and I'm your host, Aaron Maslyansky. Today I'm speaking with Sabrina Ehmke, the founder of the Skokie Swifters Run and Walk Club. Skokie Swifters is a club for anyone from beginners to experienced distant runners, and whether or not you just want to get moving outside or looking to make some new friends or looking for a little bit of motivation when you're training, you will find a great community with the Swifters. So Sabrina is also a former ETHS teacher and has her own podcast called For Your Run. So I am so excited to speak with you because you are doing such amazing things within the Skokie community.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity to share about the Swifters, and it's just great to connect with you.
Oh, it is awesome. And, and I noticed what you've been doing on social media, and you joined the Inside the Skev Facebook group, and it was great to get to meet you. We had coffee recently, and what got you inspired to start this club?
Sure. Well, first of all, I should say, I think it's thank you to Jennifer Engel, because she's actually the one that connected me to the Inside the Skev group. So
Oh,
just want
cool.
to shout out her a little bit and say thanks for that. But the kind of the origin story of the Swifters comes from just my desire to have a running and walking club within Skokie. I'm born and raised here. I went to Northwestern University for my undergrad, so I stayed in the area for college. And then as an adult, I've been living here most of my adult life as well. Excuse me. And I really loved the running community itself. And I've been a runner for a long time, going on about 20 years now. I ran my first marathon in 2003 in Chicago. And within that time, I've been a member of different running communities, both in person and in the virtual world and Instagram and things like that. But there wasn't really anything directly here in Skokie in our community. A long time ago, there used to be something called the Oakton Runners Club, which was based out of Niles West High School. But that since disbanded when one of the leaders of it had retired. And that was quite a while ago. And I just really felt like Skokie should have something. There's some great communities in Evanston with Evanston Runners Club, in some of the parts of the city, especially close to us in Rogers Park with the Rogers Park Running Club. And it was kind of on my mind for a long time to try to have something here in Skokie. So with the way that COVID happened and quarantining happened, it kind of got put on hold for a little while.
Yeah.
But in the spring of 2021, people were starting to get vaccinated and come out again into their communities. And it felt like the right time to try to introduce something new. So I connected with a few friends who were also active, both runners and walkers, and we created a little Facebook group of about 15 people. And we held our first in-person event with a whopping 4 people that showed up at the Lincolnwood Memorial Day virtual run. And from that point, it seemed like it would be time, as it was starting to grow a little bit within my friend community, to connect with some sort of either organization or a business of some sort to maybe host a weekly run. So I actually approached Sketchbook Brewing Company. My husband and I have been members there since their origination about 8 years ago now, I think. And I approached them about possibly being the place that we could meet weekly. And we connected and agreed on Tuesday nights. And we had our first meetup on September 14th, 2021, with 11 people. And since then, we've grown to a Facebook community of over 230. We
Wow.
have close to 600 followers on Instagram. And on any given Tuesday, you can find anywhere between 30 to 40 people who come. And we host a variety of other regular events, both just meetups, runs, walks, social events as well, too. So we've grown quite a bit, and I'm both very proud and very humbled by the support that everybody has given this.
Have you ever had experience with community organizing?
Not directly like this. I have been involved in a number of things over the years, whether that's volunteering through some of the local animal shelters. I was volunteering for a while with a group called Girls on the Run. But most of my activism, I guess you could say, was through education and being a high school teacher. But I have done quite a bit of fundraising on my own. So I at least was familiar with the concept of trying to promote and advertise and try to get people to come together for a good cause. Many of the marathons that I've run have been for a variety of charities. And I'd say over the course of 9 different marathons that I've run, I've raised close to $20,000 for different
Wow.
charities. So I was familiar with at least that aspect of organization and advertising and trying to get people to come together.
Well, you've done a terrific job, and I think people rally around
Thank
the
you.
name. I mean, tell us about how did you come up with Skokie Swifters?
Well, as you can imagine, there is just a slight inspiration from the Skokie Swift yellow line, but also being that sketchbook is right next to the train line, to also sort of the image of a runner or a walker being swift in their pursuit of their goals. I liked that idea as well. And more specifically, it's very intentional that the name is Run Walk Club, not just Run Club. Many of the people that have come to us and through our conversations we've had together is a lot about the feeling that maybe running club can sometimes be intimidating. And
Yeah.
certainly, clubs can have whatever goals they want. Certainly, there are different goals for different groups, but I wanted to be very intentional with the walk aspect of it as well, so that that didn't turn away anybody. And for example, we have sometimes when we go out in the community and we say, oh, we're the Skokie Swifters Run Walk Club, the immediate response is, oh, I'm not a runner. Well, maybe that's true, but we would love to have you if you walk. We have people who bring the strollers, bring the kids on bikes, bring their pets. So, we wanted to really be as approachable to anyone as possible. And through that, we've actually had quite a few of our walkers get into running, and
Yeah.
people who are inspired to just try different types of running or try different types of walking. So it was very intentional. I will just say a funny story from some of our members was one time we were at the Skokie Farmers Market, and we did have a couple of people approach us wanting to lodge complaints about the Skokie Swift. So we are in no way connected at all. But it was a funny moment for us.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, I could see that happening. I want to touch on something you just said though, how people like the immediate response is, no, I'm not a runner. And I noticed that. Why do you think people are so defensive about their exercise habits?
Um, so I think I can speak to the I'm not a runner quote. I think a lot of times, at least as far as running is concerned, when people see that someone is a runner, I think the automatic assumption is that they have to be extremely fast, or that they have to run marathons in order to be considered a runner. Um, there's quite a large discussion within the running community about that aspect, and many of us within the running community are trying to make it so that it is more appealing to people, and that you don't have to have a certain speed, you don't have to have a certain pace in order to be able to be considered a runner. We like to say, if you run, you're a runner. It doesn't matter how fast, how slow, how much, how little. And I think that that intimidation factor can sometimes be there, just based on maybe what, if they don't have enough knowledge, or if they haven't seen as many groups like ours that are trying to appeal to both runners and walkers alike. So that's one of our goals, is just trying to make that more appealing so that it's not so intimidating and that we're welcoming to everybody.
I think that's wonderful. I mean, I think, and you hit it at the right time. People were feeling more
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with getting out about a year ago, 2021, getting vaccinated. Um, I think that there's a thirst for community and a thirst for, taking control of health, right? So, I mean,
Yep.
do you think that those factors are what have led to your success?
100%. Those definitely have contributed. In fact, as you were saying that, it made me think of several of our members who that was exactly why they joined. Some of our members had just moved to Skokie when the pandemic started. So they had moved, and immediately everything was on lockdown, and they weren't able to get to know their community, and they weren't able to go walk around and find places and meet people. Um, and then when this came up, that was one of the things that they could say, oh, well, maybe I'll meet other people who are also interested in running and walking. And frankly, beer being involved with Sketchbook also. That's another community builder for sure. And then, in that same vein, I had some people say like, well, we had moved to Skokie, but like, we didn't really know a ton of people, and we were looking for ways to get to know more people and to become more involved. I've had one of our members say that he's never been so involved in Skokie as he has been over this last year, being a member of the Swifters, and he's lived here for close to 10 years now. So, it's not just about the running and the walking for us too. It's also about being an active member of the community and supporting it. For example, we also were one of the sponsors for this year's Niles Township Fun Run 5K for their food pantry that they did, fundraiser back in May. We also participated in the Clean Green Skokie event. So we helped to clean up garbage off of the McCormick Path Trail, and then also the Skokie Valley Path that we run on weekly. So, we're not just about the running and walking, although certainly that's obviously our main goal, but we want to feel like we're members of the community too.
Is this similar to what other running clubs do in other communities, or is this something specific to the Skokie Swifters, where you are such a community organization?
That's a good question. I think from my limited knowledge of some other clubs in the area, I do think that some of them participate and host other events as well. But it does seem like maybe those are more running based. Like I said, I've had some members who have been in some other running clubs, and they've come to us and said that they've never really seen that kind of activism on a loose level, at least active participation in the community. They've never seen that before. And, while I certainly have pride in what has happened here, I can't take the credit for all of that. That's come from our members. Without people wanting to pick up garbage and without people wanting to run during a color run for the Niles Township Food Pantry, and donating both their time and their finances, without all of that, it wouldn't be. So really, it's a testament to the members wanting to participate in these activities and support the community too.
Yeah, I think they're really it's such a positive to the community in so many different ways. I just can't get enough of it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, and I think the other thing is too, a lot of people have found sort of an identity through this as well. If you're somebody who has been, maybe casually running or walking on your own here and there, and now you suddenly find yourself among a group of 20 people every week that are going to show up, that becomes part of who you are, not just what you do. And I think that's so important, especially when you're talking about fitness and exercise. Like, you want to feel like you're in a positive atmosphere that doesn't have pressure with it, right? This should be fun. We should be going out there and having a good time. And certainly it should be challenging when it comes to things like exercise and fitness too. However, there shouldn't be a pressure that's associated with it. And I think that we provide that.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why I started this show is to get people acclimated with the community. As my job as a real estate agent, I want to find somebody a home, but also help them connect. And I think this episode is such a great service to the community, because if you're new here to Skokie, like, you could instantly click in if you like running or walking, and you can get in there. And it, like you said, it's not just the running or walking, it's also the hanging out. I mean, you have these meetups at Sketchbook. And I think that's really become a big part of what you do. I mean, the drinking, but tell us about that though. I mean, what has Sketchbook done in order to help enhance what you're doing?
Oh, I don't think that we would be where we are without them, honestly, and so much gratitude to them for this. I think the other joke that we have is when we ask people, do you like running or walking? And if their immediate answer is no, the next follow-up question is, well, do you like drinking beer? And then if that's still no, the next question is, well, do you like coffee? Because we go to Needs and Wants, and we go to Complimentary, and we go to Soul Good Coffee. So the point is that I don't think we would be where we're at without other local businesses supporting us. And truly, we're not a business, but we are an organization that wants to give as much to the community as they give to us. And specifically with Sketchbook, they might provide the space for us, but they also provide the advertising for us. I mean, they truly are talking us up as much as we talk them up. It's truly a nice connection that we've got with them. And they certainly have been supportive in other things that we've asked them and tried to do with them. And I think without them, it just wouldn't be the same. Absolutely.
And they've made a brew with your name, haven't they?
They have, in fact, yes. We have loosely like to call it a Skokie Swifter beer, but it is, the official name is called the Cool Down, and it is a cream ale. And we partnered with them on that, specifically with the label creation as well. And that was done with the company that does a lot of our swag, things like shirts and stickers, called For the Run. And that's actually partly where I do my separate podcast called For Your Run, The Reset, with them as well. But For the Run designed the label, and we worked with Sketchbook to collaborate on it. So yeah, the next time you're out for your run or walk and you need to get your thirst quenched, you can go have a nice cool down inside of Sketchbook.
It's amazing. I mean, you do so, I know a lot of people who are in sales, and the amount of marketing that you do and how well you execute it, and you're not a business, but like, I mean, you essentially are executing a business here. You sell the swag, right?
We do. Yeah. We have it made with For the Run, and then we sell it with them. So, we do have our kind of toes in the water, so to speak, in terms of business, but
I mean, you're highly successful. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm super impressed.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. None of this would happen without the other, like I said, businesses and people that support us. But the other thing I've learned throughout this process too. So I'm usually in my real job, let's call it, even though Swifters is not a job, it's truly a labor of love. I'm a high school teacher, and this year I'm taking a leave of absence to explore some other avenues and projects and things that I've been wanting to do. And so, of course, having this time has allowed me to dive a lot deeper into things like the Swifters and other podcasts and some other projects that I have going on. But one of the biggest things that I've walked away from with this is, and I'm sure that I would imagine that this is maybe a business tip too at some point, is just to ask. Right. I have asked a lot of people a lot of things, and occasionally I will get a no. However, I would say 90% of the questions I've asked of people, the answer has been yes. And I think that's the one thing that I maybe previous to this would have been afraid to do. Of course, I think we're all afraid of being told no to some degree. But if we don't ask, then we won't know. And if we don't know, we really don't know how far we can go with something. And I certainly don't have a perfect model here, and I've absolutely made mistakes along the way. And there are certainly things that I've done that maybe if I were to do it again, I wouldn't necessarily do those things. But overall, I think just asking for the help and asking for the support is one of the biggest things that we can do if we're trying to start something new. And really, yeah. I've been a high school teacher for 17 years. This is the first time I'm really doing something different. I've done other projects and things here throughout those years and tried different things, but this is truly something from just an idea to where it is now. I'm very proud of that. And like I said, very humbled too.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the pandemic has given people some, clarity on things that they want to try and do. It's like we have a limited window of when we can explore different opportunities. I mean, is that why you took this leave, in order to be able to explore some of these other interests that you have?
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. I think you're right that the pandemic has given people that chance to maybe say, what if? And certainly I admire people who just up and quit the job and tried something new. I don't think I was ready to do that yet necessarily, but The last 3 years of education for many of us in education have been very difficult and very challenging, even more so than usual, of course. And for me, it was the time that I needed in order to say, I need to take a step away for a little bit and just to reevaluate some things. And maybe without the pandemic, I wouldn't necessarily have done that. Maybe I would have. It's hard to say.
Sure.
But certainly the pandemic sort of gave a little bit of a trigger for that. Here's this opportunity to maybe try something new, and why not? I am fortunate in my situation that I am expected to go back next school year. My job is still there, and this is just sort of pushing pause on it for right now. And so I recognize the privilege I have in that. Not everybody had that, but to get that opportunity, I didn't want to let that go or let that pass.
Of course. Well, I think it's, you're making the most of it, but, and one of the other things I want to talk about too is, your podcast that you do for your run. Tell us a little bit about that, and just what's the synopsis of that show?
Sure. So the core podcast is called For Your Run, and that is an offshoot from the company For the Run, which is run by a guy named Sean King. And the podcast is co-hosted with Blair Harder. And the two of them, the main core of the podcast is the two of them discussing and featuring different runners that they are friendly with or know through businesses or organizations, and just getting a feel for what real runners are like in the community. And this is nationwide, right? These are not people that are located in just one city or one state. So it's a really great way to get to know what running is like all throughout the country. The podcast that I have with them is called For Your Run, The Reset. And this one dives into the mental health aspect of running. So I use my expertise as a psychology teacher to connect with different topics within running and to see how those topics are affected, both by those psychology topics and then also by those running concepts too. So we've had, I want to say it's like 4 or 5 episodes at this point. So it's still fairly new. We just started doing it this past year. But essentially we take a single psychology concept and then we discuss how that applies to both of our experiences as runners, and then just also as humans as well. Mm-hmm. So it's been really nice for me at this time to kind of keep myself in one door with psychology and just bring it a little bit more into my other love of running. And that has been kind of a nice connection with working with the Swifters too, is just seeing all of their different experiences and trying to keep that in mind as I navigate not running this organization, but leading some of these people and trying to remember that we're all different and we all have these different experiences and really keeping those psych concepts in mind.
Do you find that running is are some of the things that you talk about how running can be a positive boost to your mental health?
Absolutely. Yeah, one of the topics, one of our episodes talks about this concept of belonging and how on a very human level, it's a real desire for us to feel like we are a part of something, or that we belong to a community, or that we belong to a group of people, or that we have those supports. And then within that, running can really provide that. And I think that was such a great topic for this, because that's something that we talk about all the time. As I referenced earlier, this idea of maybe some people are intimidated by being around runners, or feeling like they're not good enough, quote unquote. But that's what we really try to express, is that just by being a runner, you're automatically part of that community. So that's that sense of belonging.
I think that's really important. And I think it's so important for the health of community and humanity to feel like they're part of the community.
Yeah.
And I think that what we look at right now with like politics and everything else, it's so bifurcated and people don't feel like they're a part of something. And especially, at the height of the pandemic, where you're stuck inside and you can't do normal things that you do, or maybe you didn't even like the things that you did before and didn't feel like you're in the community either. Then it makes you, it could cause sickness. We Yes. Look at our society. It is we had a pandemic from a virus, but like there's a lot of other things going on too. And I think part of it is to have, if we had some cohesion and people feel positive around each other, and it's paired with something that is, actually boosting your physical health, it makes everybody, just it lifts everybody up.
Absolutely. And to that point, as you were talking, it made me think of one of our Swifters who says that very thing. I mean, he talks about how he was in a very difficult place in terms of his mental health, and he started coming, and he feels like a completely different person. And that's been a year and a month or so. And certainly I'm not, I'm not a mental health specialist, right? I'm a psychology teacher, and I'm not suggesting that just join a running club and all your
Right.
problems will go away. Like that is
Right.
definitely not what I'm saying. However, I am saying that the act of him joining this group definitely helped him in what sounds like was a time of need for him.
Yeah.
So I think just to your point about the connection and the belonging, and if we don't feel that, that maybe that can make us feel sick.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's great what you're doing. Now, how do people like come to your events? And I mean, is there a cost to it?
We are fully free. We
Oh,
definitely,
okay.
yeah, we definitely have events and celebrations and parties and things like that that we certainly accept contributions for. We have, as I mentioned earlier, we've sponsored a couple of different local events too, which we certainly ask for contributions for, but we do not have a membership fee at this time. And we want to probably remain on that because we want to make sure that we are open access and that people can come and join us no matter what their circumstances are. We often get the question of, well, how do I join or how do I sign up? Come to Sketchbook at 6 p.m. on Tuesdays, and we'll be there waiting for you. We have many other events and things that we do throughout the course of the year. We also do Saturday morning runs. The locations for that change, but we also have many other events too. And so we have our Facebook and our Instagram, and then as well, we have a website, skokieswifters.run.
And how long is it for on Tuesday nights?
So we meet at 6 o'clock. We have a couple of brief announcements, and then people go off for their run or their walk of whatever distance or time they choose. Don't be afraid to come if you don't come with anyone. If you come alone, surely by the end of that time, you will have met somebody that's similar to you in terms of pace or in terms of how long they want to stay out for. So people are usually gone for about 45 minutes or so, and most people are back to the tap room by 7 o'clock. And we usually do a longer set of announcements at that point. We also highlight anybody that participated in a race over the weekend, whether it was a local 5K or a large city marathon. We want to celebrate your accomplishment. And then we often sit around and hang out longer than we run and walk for. So we're usually there until about 8, 9 o'clock in the evening.
That's awesome. And are you still doing it through the winter?
We sure are. There were many, many evenings where on Tuesdays it was the Skokie Swifters at Sketchbook, and that was it. We know that, people don't like to come out as much in the winter, but we have a lot of hardcore runners and walkers who are winter warriors as well. And we like to say that there isn't bad weather, there's only bad clothing choices. So if you're somebody who's new to it, to running or walking in the cold, we would be happy to give you advice for what to wear and how to layer up.
And there's even like indoor marathons I saw you were posting in your group, right?
Yeah, actually, there's a set of relays and marathon and half marathon that happens in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in the Pettit Ice Arena, which is just outside of Milwaukee. And I know some of our Swifters are interested in that too. So that we do a lot of unique things. We actually did another relay down in Champaign, Urbana at U of I back in April, and we're doing it again, which is a relay, 4-person marathon relay. So each person runs about a 10K, 6.2 miles. And we're hoping to do some other fun things. We did a beer mile over the summer too. That's more for hardcore drinkers, I suppose. You drink one beer every quarter mile for 1 mile. It was tough, but we had a couple of champions, world champions.
Oh my God. That's
we like to
awesome.
have fun also, in case you couldn't tell.
Yeah, that's the key thing that I'm learning from here. It's not just the running, it's the fun. It's like just a good time to hang out with some really cool people.
I will say this too. We have a couple of Swifters who do their runs earlier in the day on Tuesday, so that when they come on Tuesday, they can just hang out, which we totally allow and accept as well.
Yeah, just be there.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to come. I've got to come check it out.
Please. Yes, we would love to have you. We actually, one of our big events that we still have left this year is going to be our Ugly Sweater Beer Crawl, which is for the holiday season. On Saturday, December 3rd, we will meet at Sketchbook Brewery at noon, and we would love for you to wear your best ugly holiday sweater. And from there, it's a series of breweries. So from Sketchbook, we run to Temperance in Evanston. From there, we're going to run to Double Clutch Brewery. And then from there, we'll run to Smiley Brothers and finish there. So
Oh my God.
we'll have the whole schedule posted soon, but we did it once last year for the holidays, and we also did it for St. Patrick's Day. And we're here to tell the tale, and all the breweries have invited us back. So thank you, breweries. We're looking forward to it again. No, it's truly for the world champs.
That's amazing. And just to remind everybody, it's SkokieSwifters.run where you can get all the information, right?
That's correct. Yeah. We're also on Facebook at Skokie Swifters and on Instagram at Skokie Swifters as well.
Very cool. Well, this was so awesome, Sabrina. Thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday soon.
You're welcome. Thank you again so much for having me, and really appreciate the connection we've made. And stay Swifty, everybody.
Stay Swifty. Hi, I'm Aaron Masliansky, longtime Skokie and Evanston resident, host of Inside the Skev, and local real estate expert. As a community connector and realtor with Dreamtown Realty in downtown Evanston, I know firsthand what makes the Skev such an amazing place to live. When I'm helping my clients buy and sell properties inside of the Skev or out, I'm doing it with the best technology and support team behind me at Dreamtown. During the pandemic, I've been able to help my clients seamlessly stay on track with their home search. From immersive 3D Matterport tours, professional photos, to virtual open houses, my clients can find their homes safely and comfortably, and even from their couch. When you're ready to make a move, know that I'll be here to help. You can always find out more about me at skevinston.com/real estate. Again, that's skevinston.com/real estate, or email me at aaron@skevinston.com.